ओंटारियो ਦੇ ਉੱਘੇ ਡਾਕਟਰ ਦਾ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਸਾਲ ਦੇ ਅੰਤ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੋਵਿਡ-19 ਮਾਮਲਿਆਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਵਾਧਾ ਹੋਣ ਦੀ ਸੰਭਾਵਨਾ ਹੈ, ਪਰ ਇਹ ਚਿੰਤਾ ਦਾ ਕਾਰਨ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ। उन्होंने आख्या कि प्रोविंस रीओपनिंग प्रक्रिया के तीजे पड़ाव विचों बाहर निकलन जा रही है। प्रोविंस विच लगातार 5वें दिन कोविड-19 के मामले 300 तो उपर रहे। इस नाल 7 दिनों की रोजाना कोविड इन्फेक्शन 306 तक पाई गई।
And Ontarians should expect to see a continued increase as we enter the fall. This is not a cause for panic. Our case rates will fluctuate over time, and we can anticipate that they'll continue to go up. But it is our collective responsibility to avoid a sudden acceleration in cases by getting fully immunized. It is never too late to be immunized. The province's vaccine rollout, which has resulted in one of the highest vaccination rates in the world, is having an impact and is protecting Ontario against more severe cases of COVID-19, hospitalizations, and death. Already, 81% of Ontarians aged 12 and over have received their first dose of a COVID-19 vaccine, and we are around 3% away from meeting our second dose target of 75%. We've almost administered 20 million doses in Ontario. As our rollout continues to edge forward, we need those who remain unvaccinated to step up. Our most recent data shows that people who are unvaccinated are approximately 8 times more likely to get infected with COVID-19 compared to fully vaccinated individuals. Unvaccinated adults 60 years of age and older are approximately 15 times more likely to be hospitalized due to COVID-19 compared to those fully vaccinated. So if you haven't rolled up your sleeve to get your shot, now is the time as we head into the fall. This is especially critical for our college, our university-age Ontarians, anyone aged 20 to 39 years of age.
ਅਗਲੀਆਂ ਚੋਣਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਮੈਨੀਟੋਬਾ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰੀਮੀਅਰ ਬ੍ਰਾਇਨ ਪੈਲਿਸਟਰ ਮੁੜ ਖੜੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ, ਪਰ ਉਹ ਹਾਲ ਦੀ ਘੜੀ ਆਫਿਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਬਣੇ ਰਹਿਣਗੇ। ਪੈਲਿਸਟਰ ਨੇ ਬ੍ਰੈਂਡਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰੈਸਿਵ ਕੰਜ਼ਰਵੇਟਿਵ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਆਫ ਮੈਨੀਟੋਬਾ ਕਾਕਸ ਦੀ ਹੋਈ ਮੀਟਿੰਗ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹ ਐਲਾਨ ਕੀਤਾ। ਉਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਆਖਿਆ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਮਹਿਸੂਸ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਨ ਕਿ ਨਵੇਂ ਲੀਡਰ ਤੇ ਪ੍ਰੀਮੀਅਰ ਦੀ ਚੋਣ ਕਰਨ ਦਾ ਸਮਾਂ ਆ ਗਿਆ ਹੈ, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਾਡੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਿੰਸ ਨੂੰ ਅੱਗੇ ਲੈ ਜਾ ਸਕੇ। ਉਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਆਖਿਆ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਅਗਲੀਆਂ ਚੋਣਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੜਨੀਆਂ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ।
A few moments ago, I informed my caucus colleagues that I will not be seeking re-election as a member of the Manitoba Legislative Assembly, and accordingly, a new leader of the Progressive Conservative Party of Manitoba will lead our party into the next election. After almost 10 years as leader of our party and more than 5 years as our province's premier, I believe that now is the time for a new leader and a premier to take our province forward. The honour of my life has been serving as our premier. Manitobans have gifted me with the great privilege of leading our province with the 2 largest back-to-back majority government wins in over a century. Our team entered office facing enormous challenges from the very beginning, and we charted bold, new directions to fix the finances, repair the services, and rebuild the economy of our province. We produced the first balanced budget in over a decade, while creating the largest ongoing per-person investment of any Canadian province in healthcare, education, and family services. And we did this while lowering the tax burden on Manitoba families, on every working person, on every retiree, and on our small businesses as well, to keep life more affordable. Most important of all, we did what we said we would do. We ran a clean government with real integrity that was scandal-free, and I am proud of that. Together, Manitobans faced an extraordinary challenge like no other in the past year and a half, and that challenge is not over yet with respect to a global pandemic. And our government has had to make many, many difficult and unprecedented decisions, as have all governments, during that time. Decisions to keep people safe, to protect our hospitals and the people who work in them and the people who need treatment in them as well.
ਡਰੱਗ ਮਾਮਲੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਚੀਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਨਜ਼ਰਬੰਦ ਕੈਨੇਡੀਅਨ ਨਾਗਰਿਕ ਦੀ ਮੌਤ ਦੀ ਸਜ਼ਾ ਅਦਾਲਤ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਬਰਕਰਾਰ ਰੱਖਣ ਦੇ ਫੈਸਲੇ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦਿਆਂ ਫੈਡਰਲ ਕੰਜ਼ਰਵੇਟਿਵ ਆਗੂ ਐਰੀਨੋ ਟੂਲ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਬੀਜਿੰਗ ਉੱਤੇ ਮੌਤ ਦੀ ਸਜ਼ਾ ਨੂੰ ਸਿਆਸੀ ਮਕਸਦ ਲਈ ਵਰਤਣ ਦਾ ਦੋਸ਼ ਲਗਾਇਆ ਗਿਆ ਹੈ। ਓਟੂਲ ਨੇ ਆਖਿਆ ਕਿ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਅਗਲੇ ਸਾਲ ਚੀਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੋਣ ਵਾਲੇ ਵਿੰਟਰ ਓਲੰਪਿਕਸ ਦਾ ਬਾਈਕਾਟ ਕਰੇਗਾ।
The Chinese Communist Party needs to know that the world is watching, and we will be asking tough questions. Canadians just enjoyed celebrating the amazing achievements of our athletes in Tokyo. I know how hard our athletes are training for Beijing, but we are approaching a point where it won't be safe for Canadians, including Olympic athletes, to travel to China. The outcomes of the Spavor and Kovrig cases will help us answer that question. Yes, Canada should be considering a boycott, and I've said we're going to be watching the decisions very closely. Beijing has to know that the world is watching the genocide taking place against the Uyghurs. They've watched what's been happening in Hong Kong and the situation with Mr. Schellenberg, Mr. Spavor, and Mr. Kovrig. The world is watching, and we're proud of our athletes. We're celebrating, but we also have to recognize the actions of a country that wants to host the games to bring people together. And we'll have to think long and hard on whether we reward a country like that with the games. Now is not the time for an election. Now is the time to make sure we're ready for the risks of a fourth wave. Health and the economic well-being of our country needs to be paramount. And I've asked Mr. Trudeau to put that first. I'm worried that the Liberals will put their political interest ahead of the national interest. We are talking about ideas for the future, but right now we have to keep people safe. It's not the time for an election.
ਫੈਡਰਲ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਐਲਾਨ ਕੀਤਾ ਗਿਆ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਰੈਜ਼ੀਡੈਂਸ਼ੀਅਲ ਸਕੂਲਾਂ ਦੇ ਸਬੰਧ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੋਣ ਵਾਲੀ ਖੋਜਬੀਣ ਲਈ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ ਜਾਣ ਵਾਲੀਆਂ ਪਹਿਲਕਦਮੀਆਂ ਉੱਤੇ $321 ਮਿਲੀਅਨ ਹੋਰ ਖਰਚ ਕੇ ਇੰਡੀਜੀਨੀਅਸ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀਜ਼ ਦੀ ਮਦਦ ਲਈ ਵੀ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ। ਇੰਡੀਜੀਨੀਅਸ ਸਰਵਿਸਿਜ਼ ਮੰਤਰੀ ਮਾਰਕ ਮਿਲਰ ਨੇ ਇਹ ਐਲਾਨ ਕਰਦਿਆਂ ਆਖਿਆ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਮਝਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਹਜੇ ਇਸ ਪਾਸੇ ਕਾਫੀ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਨ ਵਾਲਾ ਪਿਆ ਹੈ।
I would like to acknowledge I'm speaking to you from Mi'kmaq, the traditional unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq. Since the discovery of unmarked graves in communities across the country in late May, a number of Indigenous peoples have contacted me and our government to share that they're now reliving the experiences they have worked so hard to move on from and opening up old wounds they thought had healed. I want to take a moment to highlight the courage of those who are speaking out, as well as those who continue to suffer in silence. We're also thinking of the children and families who've suffered intergenerational trauma, continue to express the effects of it, and are now facing a huge setback in their own healing. We all know that we can't close our eyes, and as a government, as non-Indigenous Canadians, we have to stand beside and support survivors, their families, and communities as they begin or continue to heal. A 3-year investment through Budget 2021 has renewed essential mental health, cultural, and emotional supports for former residential school students and their families, and for those impacted by other intergenerational traumas such as federal day schools and missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls. We recognize as well that no budgetary element could have predicted a situation such as this. We recognize that there are a number of immediate and urgent growing needs for supports, especially as more confirmations of unmarked burials at former residential institutions are made across the country. For this reason, today we're investing a further $107.3 million this year to support healing from intergenerational trauma. Through a 3-year investment in Budget 2021, I would note we are also maintaining the residential school crisis line, which gives former residential school students and their families access to emotional and crisis supports 24 hours a day. All Indigenous peoples can access the Hope for Wellness helpline, which provides immediate toll-free and online support and crisis intervention 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
ਓਨਟਾਰੀਓ ਦੀ ਸਿਹਤ ਮੰਤਰੀ ਕ੍ਰਿਸਟੀਨ ਇਲੀਅਟ ਨੇ ਕੋਲਿੰਗਟਨ ਜਨਰਲ ਹਸਪਤਾਲ ਅਤੇ ਮਰੀਨ ਹਸਪਤਾਲ ਦੇ ਪੁਨਰ ਵਿਕਾਸ ਲਈ $15 ਮਿਲੀਅਨ ਦੇ ਨਿਵੇਸ਼ ਦਾ ਐਲਾਨ ਕੀਤਾ। ਉਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਹਸਪਤਾਲਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਅੰਦਰੂਨੀ ਮਰੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਦੀ ਸਮਰੱਥਾ ਨੂੰ ਵਧਾਇਆ ਜਾਵੇਗਾ ਅਤੇ ਮੈਡੀਕਲ ਸਹੂਲਤਾਂ ਦਾ ਵਿਸਥਾਰ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਵੇਗਾ।
It is a great pleasure to be here in Collingwood to celebrate some very, very exciting news for your community. But first and foremost, I would like to thank the healthcare staff, leadership, workers, and everyone else here at Collingwood General and Marine Hospital for your heroic response to the COVID-19 pandemic and your commitment to protect the health and well-being of all members of your community. From using virtual platforms to support mental health services, to running a COVID-19 testing facility and administering COVID-19 vaccines at the Royal Canadian Legion, you have risen to every challenge with creativity and determination. Thank you for going above and beyond each and every day to provide exceptional care to all of your patients. Now, long before any of us had heard of COVID-19, remember those days? I barely can at this point, but our government did make a commitment to end hallway healthcare and to build a modern, connected healthcare system that focuses on the needs of patients and families. An important part of that commitment, of course, is ensuring that our hospitals have the resources that they need to deliver high-quality care and equipping them to respond to any scenario. As your community continues to grow, your local hospital will need more capacity and modern technology to support high-quality patient care. That's why I am very pleased to announce that our government is investing over $15 million to support the planning and design of a redeveloped Collingwood General and Marine Hospital. This is great news. Over the course of the project, the current hospital will be expanded and upgraded with modern facilities to replace existing aged infrastructure.